in there tonight. And it looks like YouTube is finally going. And there we are finally. It only took 3 attempts to get on this time. Facebook worked tonight. YouTube took 3 attempts to get to load. Ryan with us. Alec over there on Facebook. Kevin L. and Pete here ready to go on YouTube. So that only took 2.5 minutes to get everything up and going. There's Austin. So I guess that's a win. Matt's here with us. It's crazy. We've been doing this for years. These lives have been up, for, it seems like forever, 10, 15 years. You've been able to do lives on YouTube and Facebook. And it's working worse now than it was 3 years ago. They've both been a challenge. Facebook, I can set up about 4 different ways with different browsers, and whether I'm in Meta or on regular Facebook and things like that. I had to try 3 different ways. I finally got it to go on the third shot. Tractor Mike is here. So and then YouTube wouldn't load. But anyway, we're up, we're going, we're ready to go. Time for some Sunday night interactive Gearhead live chat. Jeff from Ottawa. Lots of stuff happening tonight, giving some stuff away, auction stuff, magazine stuff, cool badges, emblems, caps. Glenn made it. And should be a great time. Glad you guys are all here and ready to go. Dad's here with us. Jim is on. Number 1. Waycamp made it. Anyway, Dennis is here. If you guys caught the shorts, the weather has finally broke. Week and a half ago it was 8, and this week it was 68. JP's here. So it definitely much better. Bill Disc, still frozen in the East Coast. That's fine. You can keep it up there as far as I'm concerned, because it was nice here. We're supposed to maybe get a little bit of moisture this week, but our lows are going to be in there, right around the freezing mark. Our lowest high this week is supposed to be like 47. Other than that, we're supposed to be like in the 50s, bumping 60. So definitely looking forward to that. Couple things I wanted to get into. One thing I definitely wanted to touch on real quick. John Sanderson made it. We have one thing we do occasionally on here. You guys have shown interest in it. I don't need rain, Glenn. I'm almost dry. I don't want more rain right now. So occasionally we'll do a book on here that I've read. You guys have shown some interest in that. Dan from Defiance here. And I had one out last week. We didn't get to it, but I definitely want to touch on it tonight, because I didn't realize this when we talked about it last week. I said I had a book I wanted to catch, and we just kind of never got that far. But the gentleman that actually wrote it passed away last weekend. So it's a very, very interesting book and a very good book. So I definitely want to touch on that here before we get too far into things. But as always, a little bit of housekeeping. Autocorrect, please double check your comment. Make sure autocorrect didn't change into something wonky before you hit send. If you're on the Nobody Show Facebook page, I cannot see those comments. This is a shared video from the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page. You'll need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page or the Nobody Show YouTube channel if you want to comment or participate in the chat. If you just want to watch, hang out, you're perfectly fine over there. Trolls, we do occasionally get some trolls on here. We've got Kevin and Pete helping us out with that. And we've gotten it under control, and it's a lot better than it was, but it does still occasionally happen. Super chats are great. And we are dealing with ads now, unfortunately, but that's the nature of the beast on YouTube. It's their baby. They run ads. There's not much we can do about it. Ryan, just glad to be out in the garage. I don't blame you. That sounds like a lot of fab work, rebuilding a lot of metal that doesn't exist. I don't think they ever did make an Eagle Cloud car. Because there was the Breeze, the Cirrus, and the Stratus, but I do not believe that there was an Eagle Cloud car. I did buy a Neon Coupe a couple months ago that I'll get worked into a video coming up. But I think that's a good point. I don't think they did make an Eagle Cloud car in that series. Brian Dispatch made it tonight. So anyway, first off, let's catch this book, and then we're going to have some cool car stuff to talk about, giving some stuff away. Justin's here, Fireballs. Dan from Ohio made it. Glad you guys are all here hanging out tonight on the chat. And it looks like Facebook is really actually going to cooperate tonight. Maybe. Greg Poole from British Columbia hanging out with us. Glad you're here tonight. And we better get rolling with a Hudson badge, too. We're already 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in on Facebook, 7 minutes. On the Hudson badge. So anyway, a little bit off topic as far as books, but a lot of you guys have expressed interest in what I've been reading, things like that. There's actually, this guy's written 4 books. I think I've got 2 of them. And like I mentioned earlier, he passed away last weekend, which, he was in his 90s, so that doesn't surprise me. But, and we may have even talked about this guy in the past. I'm not sure. But I know all of you guys remember the Kennedy assassination in 1963 in Dallas, Texas. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about it right now. Trump is demanding that the rest of the records be released, and a lot of things going on with that. So I'm sure that, that the Zapruder film, all that stuff has been seen a million times. It's been all over the media and is coming back in mainstream media right now with Trump's promise to release and declassify all the rest of the records that have been previously in all the times they've released records. There's always stuff that is held back. And he says now it's all coming out. So Jim remembers it. Yep. And I'm sure a lot of you guys remember, if you've seen that footage, the Secret Service climbing up over the trunk of the Lincoln in those pictures and in those videos. So, boiling down 140 gallons of sap to make 4 gallons of maple syrup. That sounds like a ton of work, but that sounds like awesome syrup because I like pancakes, and that sounds like some really epic maple syrup. So, Randy with the Nut Farms here. So, anyway, back to what we were discussing. When you remember, think back to those pictures and the Lincoln. Ryan with Dry Lake Brewing hanging out with us on Facebook tonight. Getting ready for the gathering. So Ryan hanging out with us on Facebook. Can't wait for all you guys to hang out at his establishment at the gathering, weekend of April 26th, the night of the 25th and the 26th. We will be down at Dry Lake Brewing. Be sure to check them out on Facebook. Give them a like. Stay up to date with what's going on for when you guys get here shortly. And that's right, Scott on Facebook. He got he knew exactly where we were going with this. Clint Hill, the Secret Service agent that climbed up over the trunk of the Lincoln as the shots rang out, passed away last week. His book, one of his books, was one of the books that I was going to talk to you guys about last weekend, 5 Presidents. He's written, I believe there were 4 books, a couple of them about Mrs. Kennedy. He was assigned specifically to Mrs. Kennedy. This is obviously entitled 5 Presidents because he worked with 5 presidents. Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, and Ford. Big Red here with us. Very, very interesting reading. So if you're interested in history, this is not just about the assassination. This is about that entire time period of being in the Secret Service in the late 50s up into the 70s. Obviously, a lot of tumultuous times in the country with Vietnam, Watergate, things like that, and of course, Kennedy. So very, very good book. There are some very good interviews on YouTube with him. There's a radio station out of Kansas City that I listen to. He's been on there before. And very, very interesting stuff. So I actually had this one set out last week. We didn't get to it. And then when I realized he'd passed away, definitely wanted to bring it up to you guys, and highly suggest any of these as great reading and very, very interesting stuff. So he was like 32 when the assassination happened. Yeah. So yeah, he had a long career ahead of him and went all the way up through all those presidents throughout the 70s. So super interesting reading. Sad to hear that he passed away, but check out the interviews, get the books. They are well worth reading and very interesting with American history. So anyway, what else is going on? Lots of stuff happening, getting ready to happen. Obviously, the gathering coming up. glad Ryan was able to jump on. Things are coming together for it. Pete's obviously been helping us out, keeping that organized, and keeping the email thread going with the people that are signed up. There's still room. Like I said, I don't know that we're going to fill it. Sounds great, Pete. You'll enjoy it. But we are going to cap it at 35 people in case we do get full. But it's going to be a fun weekend. It was a great time last year, and can't wait to see you guys again. There are a few of you guys that are talking about flying in. Bill Disk is the only one that I know that has made flights, and he's coming into Hays, Kansas, which is about 50 miles from here. So if you guys are thinking about flying in, holler or get with Pete, get on the list, get on the email thread. So hopefully maybe we can help coordinate some of that stuff. Ryan at Dry Lake Brewing working on some stuff for us, trying to get some automotive trivia put together, interactive, for Saturday night, that we are even hoping you guys might be able to participate in the automotive trivia. Even if you can't be here that night, we're hoping you can log in and play along right with us. So thanks for throwing your email up there, Pete. If you're interested, just fire a Pete off the email off to Pete at badboychevrolets@gmail.com. Are there still any Packards in the yard? There's a few, Greg. Just depends on what you're looking for. I don't have a ton of them, but I've got a little bit. So this is it's coming together, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Bill Disk is going into Denver and then into Hays. So it's exciting. This is coming together. Can't wait for you guys to get out here and have a great time. And hopefully the weather cooperates this year. So anyway, something else I wanted to touch on real quick. The membership groups. We've had several of you join the membership groups. The training group that we've talked about, I had a handful of you guys ask for it, wanting to go over specifics of how I do what I do, getting into details, talking about things you may or may not have found. So I set all that up. But Pete's the only one who has actually said, I'm ready to make this happen. There's 3 or 4 more of you who have talked about it quite a bit, but we haven't got that far yet as far as getting something established. So if you're still interested in doing that, get with me and let me know so we can get that set up and get it going. Like I said, I built that out because we had requests, and now I haven't heard back from anybody other than Pete about ready to make that group happen. And it is obviously more money, but I'm going to take time out of my week every week to work with you guys. And realistically, it shouldn't cost you. You should be able to use it to make money, as we're discussing things you have found is worth trying to buy. Is it something you can sell? Things like that. So Bill does say he's still interested. So get with me, guys, if you're still interested in doing that. Neil's here with us. Yeah, definitely hoping for no snow this time at the gathering. That's right, Kevin. So, I mean, Pete's ready to go, and I've got 3 or 4 more guys who keep saying, I'm interested, but nobody has said, okay, I'm signed up, or I'm going to get signed up. Let's set up a time. There will be a specific exclusive live once a week or at least every other week, depending on what you guys want to do. No, do not want any more snow, Brian, at all. No, zip, zero, nada. So get with me, and we'll see if we can get that set up and find a time that's going to work for you guys. And even if the time doesn't work, once you're in that membership group, those videos will always be available to you as long as you are a member of the group. If we talk about shipping and you can't get on that day, you can always go back and watch it as many times as you want, as long as you're a member of that group. So like I said, that's why I did it. But I'm basically kind of waiting on you guys. I've got an outline built. I've got the group set up. Just need to know when you guys are going to be ready to move. So most of our snow is gone, thankfully. That's why I don't really want a bunch of rain this week. Now, what else is coming up next weekend? Wichita Swap Meet. We have not talked about this a lot. I should have mentioned this a few weeks ago. I touched on it last week. Friday and Saturday, Wichita Swap Meet, Wichita, Kansas, Century 2. This is the only swap meet that I set up at. We've literally been doing it since I was a kid. Late 80s is when Dad got a booth at this deal for the first time. So, I literally don't know. I mean, I've been going to it so long that I literally don't know what I would do if I didn't go to it. And then when they had to switch venues, 6-7 years ago, it's been at the Kansas Coliseum for decades. They lost the buildings out there. They were not available for public rent anymore. And the event had to move to Century 2. And I ended up with some really great spots there. So I've kind of stuck with it because I've been, I ended up with some really good spots. So, they fill the entire building of Century 2. I don't know how many vendors or how many square foot it is. It's pretty good size. It varies. Some years I buy a ton of stuff. Some years I don't buy hardly anything. I sell a little bit there. Again, some years I do pretty good. Some years I don't. It's a great brand building event. I get to talk to a lot of you guys. I've been going to this thing for so long that there's literally guys that's the one time a year that I see them. I know I'll say hi and we'll catch up for a few minutes at the Wichita Swap Meet. The social side of it is just about as much as the part swapping side of it anymore, it seems like. But it's a pretty decent sized swap meet. It is obviously all inside, so it is all contained, and it is all completely indoors. So Tractor Mike's thinking about going, so hopefully he'll be there. I'll be there. I don't know anybody else who's for sure is going. I know I've seen Kevin L there a few times. Fond du Lac swap meet coming up north. Yep, John will definitely be there. Okay, I was just going to ask you, it's in the same spot. So John Sanderson will be there. I'll be there. Rico and Jess. Rico will be there. Jess is probably going to show up too, but who cares? You get to hang out with Rico, so Rico will be there. John will be there. I will be there. Tractor Mike doesn't think he's going to make it, so I don't know. John's had some pretty cool horn buttons in the past. We bought some from him, so you may have one on the hook there, John. Well, hopefully Tractor Mike is feeling better later than this week, and hopefully he can get there. But anyway, it's always a good time, and like I said, lots of people to see. Obviously, John will be there, Rico will be there, I'll be there. Trying to think who else will be there. Tim's usually there. Mr. Goodflyer's usually running around there somewhere. So it's always a good time. Get to see a lot of people and always have fun. So that I'll be going down Thursday since I'm a vendor. Obviously, I can get in early. I'll get in there Thursday and get unloaded. And then the swap meet opens, I think 8 o'clock Friday morning is when it opens to the general public. Hudson badge. Yeah, I'm sure you're busy, Justin. I know it. I understand that happens sometimes. So anyway, that's part of what I'm going to be doing this coming week is getting ready for that. I haven't packed anything yet, but it's not too big a deal. So but I got to get some totes ready, get the truck loaded, and I'll be out of here Thursday morning heading down that direction. So it's going to be a great time, and be great to see some of you guys. Always have a lot of fun there. We'll do some content from there as well, and to have some fun with that. John usually helps us with that. Sometimes we even let Jess be in the video. Of course, last year she made me buy her a hat. So I don't know why. I don't know how she got her. I don't know why I bought her a hat, but she made me buy her a hat. Oh well, it was fun. So anyway, there again, swap meets are usually not a bad time. So Andy's here with us, and I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a great seeing everybody that is able to make it next weekend. That's right, Austin, the pink hat. Should probably maybe buy another hat this year too, because her birthday's coming up in 7 months. Yeah. So, anyhow, that's what I'm going to be up to this week. Can't wait to see some of you guys next weekend. If you've got some time to kill and you're in the Midwest, might be worth birth year. Yeah, it's her birth year, like every year is for everybody else on the face of the planet. So, man, she beats that drum. Whew. Need an Auburn badge just thinking about the fact we're going to have to put up with Jess. Anyway, new inventory this week. I didn't pick up any interesting cars this week. I did buy some more stuff. Bought a cool sign we'll be checking out on Toy Tuesday. A cool dealership mirror, advertising mirror. So found a few things. We need a big badge for thinking about Jess. Yeah, that's probably true. Because if we're going to have to put up with her this weekend, in fact, we may have to take this with us because we got to put up with Jess this weekend. So there we go. There's the big one. David W. made it. So, anyhow, what else we got going on tonight? We've got a new feature with the Hemmings ads, badge, cap, promo model, story time, and giving some stuff away. A guy trying to get a hold of me real quick. I'm going to tell him I'm tied up. All right. Piatone, end of March by Chicago. I've always heard that is a good one. I've never been to it, but I've always heard Piatone is a good one for gas and oil for sure. Cats are, I see 3 of them actually. They're all over there hanging out. One on the counter, Gray Kitty standing by the little heater, and Chunky Butt is curled up in her bed. Steve's here with us. Drink 12 times for that badge? Yeah, why not? Sounds like a logical plan, right? So anyhow, I did get one pickup bought where I found that sign and stuff too, so that'll be coming in soon. But let's go ahead and keep moving forward tonight. And we had a blast with this last week. I don't know what direction we're going to go with it, how long we're going to spend with it, but we had a ton of fun. You guys loved it, so we're going to kind of play with it a little bit. We're going to integrate it in. Don't know how far we'll take it, what we'll do with it, but I know regardless, we'll do a little bit of it every week. Last week was the first time we did it. You guys loved it. Where we get out an old Hemmings. This one from 1983. January of 1983. Brett's here with us. Where are you at tonight, Brett? Out on the road running OTR. So, what do we want to find in 83? Ryan's cats are sick. So far, I don't think mine have been sick. I'm hoping. So, let's check out some old ads. In 83, of course, they had Ford stuff. Plattsburgh, Missouri. See if there's any Bricklands. Let's go to the B section. You know what, Ken? You are actually right. It is getting close to a yard walk time. We did one on the 1st. We try to do them every 2 to 3 months. Joe S. We are in the B cars for sale section looking for Bricklands. So, yep, there is a Brickland. There is one Brickland. A new Brickland, 200 miles on it, $13,995. It does not list a year on it. I don't remember exactly what years they made them, but they were in the 70s. $13,995 for a Bricklin with 200 miles on it. Sounds good, Justin. Glad you were here. So, yeah, we do need to schedule a yard walk here. Obviously, I got the swap meet next weekend, so maybe here in a couple weeks we'll try to squeeze in a yard walk. So be sure to remind me of that next week, guys, and we'll see what we can kind of pencil in to get a yard walk squeezed in. Mike from Texas is here, 74-76. That's what I was thinking. In 83, they still did not even have like a Buick section. Everything under B was literally under B. So anyway, what else do we want to check out in the Hemmings? Bricklin Commercials dropped a bowling ball on the hood of a Camaro, Firebird, and a Mustang and a Bricklin. You know, when it raised bowling balls, exactly. Good point. Factory was 200 miles away from him in New Brunswick, Canada. Yeah, Malcolm Bricklin, obviously, been heavily involved in the car world for years, and that was his baby. Never really took off, but they did make some. There are lots of Buicks in here, Buick man, in the B section, Government funded. That is correct. I'd forgotten about that. Any Mack trucks? Let's check. I think they had a truck and commercial section, possibly. Let's see. Yes, here's the trucks and commercial vehicles. We'll see if there's any Macks. Buick Pace cars. I literally did see a Buick Pace car ad. For a 76. I literally just saw that as I was as I was flipping the page. I just got to find it again. Because these are not even in numerical order. These Bs are literally just, and it's not just Bs, all of them, they're literally just dumped in the section. Buicks, Bentleys, all BMWs, all ran together. 1976 Buick Indy 500 pace car, 19,000 miles, T-tops, 12 grand. That was a fortune in 83 for a used car. All right, let's get back to the truck section real quick. See if we got any Macks in here real quick. And then we'll see if anybody else has a couple of ideas, and then we'll get moving on from there. Yeah, I think that 76 Free Spirit is a great looking car. I think that'd be cool to find one of those one of these days. But there are not very many of those out there. Here's a Mack 53 single axle tractor, thermodyne engine, minor rust, runs great. $2,500 for a 53 Mack. 23 Mack chain drive fire truck. 30 Mack, 40 Mack, but it does not have prices on it or much detail on any of those Macks. 1928 Mack Model AK, rolling chassis parts truck, complete with front axle, springs, steering box, 4-speed transmission, rear axle springs, 832nd truck made of the AK series, $1,000 or trade for Mack parts. And that's about it for the Mack. But there again, and that's something also crazy to think about. In today's world, obviously, trucks are huge. Huge part of the collector car world. In 1983, there were 4 pages of trucks for sale in Hemmings total. Trucks and commercial vehicles. Tony's here with us. Apache K10 or K20. Let's see if there's any of those in here, Joe. Like I said, the truck sections, there's just not much here. So let's see if there's any of those early 60s in there like you like, Joe. Here's a Cameo, and it's the Cameo that's 25 miles from me. 55 Cameo, good restorable, $900. St. John, Kansas. Not really much for square body in here at all. They were still just new trucks. Ralph's here with us. Do not see any of those 60, 61 K10s or K20s in here, Joe. But anyway, like I said, 59 El Caminos, did not see any of those either unless they had them in the car section. We'll look for a couple of, if there's any 59 El Caminos here real quick, then we're going to move on and save some for next week. Don't see any 59 El Caminos here unless I'm missing them. But anyway, be thinking about next week what you want to check out. The January 1983 issue of Hemmings. Obviously, we can spend all night on those, so we just got to take snippets of them every week. Hudson Badge. All right. Why don't we give some stuff away here real quick, guys? Let's get the big Buick oil can out. Names are in there. Who got in this week? Just a couple more here at the end. Dennis Chapman and Adam Briggs. So we're going to give these plates away. Then we're going to show you guys the new raffle for March, which is really cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I got it at the antique show where I got my Dr. Sweat's root beer sign. Pete got the drum roll going. And we got the big Buick oil can. We're giving away the set 51, 52, 53, all 1951 plates with the little metal 52, 53 tags on them. The next name will get a 37 plate out. And the third name will get 10 entries into next month's raffle, which we will share with you here in just a few minutes. Let's have a Hudson Badge while we're thinking about it. Get everybody excited for the drawing. And let's see who we're giving these plates away to. All right, here we go. Are we ready? What do we got here? Alec Blanchett. I just saw your other comment, Alec. I'll get to that here in just a minute. So Alec's getting the set 51, 52, and 53. For his collection. Heading to Alec. Now, let's give away that 37 plate. Alec is out. You can't win twice in one drawing. Pappy's here with us. All right, I think I got one. What do we got here? Briggs gets the 37. So we'll add that to his collection. And who's getting started off in the next raffle for next month? 10 free entries into next month. Kicking off the March raffle will be, can't be Alec, can't be Briggs because they're getting license plates. Oh, Briggs again. So we'll have to draw again. Brian's froze up. Yeah, we can get caught up on that whenever you're back, Brett. Not a big deal. Zach Thompson kicking off next month's raffle with 10 entries. So anyway, that wraps up the February raffle. No problem, Brett. All right. Now, I know what you guys want to see. You want to see next month's raffle. I am pretty excited about that. But before I get to that, Alec threw a comment up there that I missed while we were in the middle of the Hemmings. I need to address that first because I missed it. Let's put this back up here out of the way. Alec was the first one to say something. I actually put this up last week. So it was up last week and never heard anything. But Alec did catch it tonight. Either I must not be paying attention. But what's the radio above the nobody shirt? First time he's noticed it. I did put it up last week when it was really nasty out the week before last. And I was cleaning stuff up in the shop, picking some stuff up. This was laying up on the shelf. And it is a radio head that mounts up and down. It's just been laying over on the shelf. It's an extra one. It doesn't go in the full set that I've got because I've got a whole set. I don't remember if I did or not, Brett. I'll have to double check and see. So since this was laying there, I thought it'd be kind of cool to put that up. This is one of the extra radio control heads I have, new old stock for a Tucker. I don't know if you guys can make it out or not, but it does actually have the Tucker on the buttons, the Tucker letters It is original. It is Newell stock. It is a spare unit. I do have a complete radio in the Tucker box. We've got the Tucker showroom banner. I'm sure some of you guys caught the video on that, but that's been, a few years ago since we did. In fact, Dave's passed away since then. The original silk Tucker dealership banner that we've got. You guys might want to go back and check the video out on that as well. But yeah, it was laying over there on the shelf. I was like, that's kind of it mounts up and down like that. There's kind of a little cool little space there. Thought it would look good there. So I just put a couple screws in it, hung it up there. It's not tight, but kind of a neat little ornament piece. Like I said, I didn't know if you can read the letters from where you guys are or not, or if anybody would even be able to make it out. But Alec threw that up there a little bit ago, and I just didn't catch it right away when it came up. But that's what it is. It is an original Newell stock Tucker radio head unit. Real deal, super cool, neat piece. So, okay, that brings us back to what's next. What's for March? I'm going to go get it, and it is cool. It's a toy. We all like toys, right? This is one of those that condition is just so good. I was really excited about it. I think you guys are going to love it. Because we all like toys, right? I think all of us like toys. I know we like toy trucks. You bet, Alec. Glad you enjoyed it. That's what I figured, Buick, man. Randy's here with us, running late, getting home from the Detroit Autorama. Hey, Randy, I wanted to mention to you, too, last weekend on your two auction pieces, I had you at, I think, 18 and 18. If you want to double check that, because that's not what you sent. Yeah, I had 18 and 18 on those two pieces. Double check that on your end, Randy, and let me know, because I want to get that stuff on the way to you. So I was hoping you would jump on at least for a little bit tonight, so we could double check that and see. So, but anyway, how was Autorama? Did they name the Riddler winner? I looked at the pictures of the Grade 8, and honestly, some of those cars were not even that appealing to me. And I know these are 7-figure, top of the line builds, but some of them, to me, I didn't even like the proportions or anything on them. So, curious as to what you think, Randy, about what you saw at the Detroit Autorama. But anyway, we keep talking about the new raffle, and we haven't quite gotten to it yet. This, I believe, is probably a late 60s era piece, age-wise. Condition-wise, it looks like yesterday. There is no box, which kind of surprises me, because this thing had to have spent the majority of its life in a box. I have not touched this since I bought it. I did not polish it. I did not wax it. I did not wipe it with a tissue. I have not done anything to it. It's that nice. We've done some similar type trucks here before, and you guys have always liked them. So I think you're going to dig this one too. I got to sneeze, I think. There we go. I knew it was in there. The March raffle. Structo ramp side pickup. Yeah, I have not polished this, haven't waxed it, haven't anything. Look at the shine on this thing. This is original. It has the Structo sticker still on the front of it. There goes the hearts. Awesome. Love the hearts. That's a good sign. The backside, pretty plain. But look at the bottom of this thing. Dan's digging it. Like I said, this thing is original. The hearts are still going. It's kind of a green, actually. It's more of a mint green than a baby blue. Now, what's really cool about it is, like I told you guys, it's a ramp side. like the Corvair ramp sides. Check that out. The hearts are still going. Looks teal on Buick Man screen. It's basically a mint green is basically what it is. The inside bed liner is plastic. This is plastic. The wheels are, or the tires are plastic. The rest of this is metal other than the windshield. Look at that. Okay, perfect, Randy. I just want to make sure I didn't screw up. Awesome. I'm glad we're squared on that. Disappointed on all grade 8 cars. So, well, like I said, the pictures I saw, a lot of them even, I'm going to use the word cartoonish, is what they look like to me. So I'm, Balin Wire's here with us. Yep, the March raffle. Cream City Pete here. Glad you made it tonight. The Structo ramp side pickup. This one does not have an interior in it. It is just plain inside. Metal body, metal roof, metal bumper. Structo ramp side pickup. Let me just give you guys an idea how big it is. It's 10 1/4 inches long, so just under a foot long on this truck. Obviously was not played with. The hearts are still going. That's a lot of hearts. That's good. That means you guys are digging it. That means you guys are as excited about it as I was. The March raffle. Be in. Put all our action figures in it. Yep. Copper Wire's here. I think it's kind of based off that, Joe, the Corvair. There really wasn't much else out there that was really a ramp side. So I'm guessing Austin's finger hurts from hitting so many hearts that this was based off of the Corvair. But it is cool and it's beautiful. Condition's great. Definitely one of those where it was kind of, okay, if I buy this, it's got to go in the raffle because it is just, the condition is so good. I could see this easily ending up on a shelf around here, not getting into the raffle. So I kind of had to tell myself that. And the headlights, that's a really good point, Joe. The headlights kind of look Corvair-ish on the front of it too. Oh, and Balin Wire, since you're on, I've got all your stuff figured up on your auction wins versus that check you sent me. So I just need to figure out what we need to do on that. So if you get a minute, give me a holler this week before the swap meet. Obviously, end of the week I'll be busy, and we can go over where we're at on that and get that stuff headed your way. So if you get a minute, Balin Wire, give me a shout. I've got it all mapped out. And we can get it all taken care of. So played with only by an old lady on Sundays. That's kind of what it looks like. But there she is, the March raffle, the Structo ramp side pickup. Actually looks pretty good right there, doesn't it? Actually looks really good right there. Almost kind of matches the Buick can. Awesome, Pappy. I'll be looking forward to it. Sounds like maybe a Toy Tuesday viewer pack in there, Pappy. Is that what we're talking about? Sounds like. Bet everybody would enjoy it. Hudson badge. Anyway, let's keep on moving. Lots of stuff to do. Let's see. Oh, a guy. Okay, I see what you're saying, Matt. I got confused there with what you were telling Randy. Awesome, Pappy. Sounds cool. All right. Let's grab a badge. Let's grab a hubcap. Promo model hiding over here behind the computer. Let's catch some story time. Lots of things going on. Andy the Rusty Okie just stopped by here. We got a pretty good cap and badge tonight as well, guys. All right, first off, tonight's badge. Yep, it's in a box. Oh, don't cover Heather. Okay, I think we're good. When I first put it up there, it was kind of over that way, wasn't it? In the GM box. Kind of a beat-up GM box, but it's over 50 years old, too. So, for our Chevy fans, new old stock in the box. We've got the mounting plate with it. 1969 Chevy Camaro grill emblem. This was the base Camaro bow tie. This is a pot metal emblem with a blue plastic insert in them that went right in the middle of the grill on the regular Camaro. Obviously, the Z28 said Z. The RSs, the SS had specific badging. This was your regular Camaro 69 grill emblem. It is V'd, obviously, because it went right at the peak of the grill. Obviously, it had to go through the plastic so you can see how long these studs are to get all the way through the plastic. Lots of good comments about this already. Lots of hearts flowing too. Randy posted Autorama on the nobodies. Awesome. That's great. In fact, I didn't even think I was messed up on my Facebook because I was trying to get the thing to work. I forgot to even touch on the nobodies page. So we'll catch that here real shortly. It does have a thicker lip on one side than on the other. And you can see how deep this thing really was. And then, of course, went through the plastic slots of the grill, and then the plate went on the back to mount it. This badge, it's actually fairly big. Prefer the base model Camaro front end, yeah. It's about 7 1/4 inches tip to tip. So it's a decent sized emblem. Obviously, the blue still looks great because it just came out of the box. You can see there's never been a nut on these studs that it's ever been mounted. A little dusty, a little dirty, been in that box for 50 some years. But kind of a cool piece. The 1969 Camaro front grille emblem in the GM box. Now, this is the only one of these I got, so I think I probably better keep it. But it is a cool piece. Especially with the depth of that blue. That's just a really good blue, if you ask me. But the nobodies page. Forgot to touch on that. Let's catch that before we do the cap. Oh, Austin put the Suburban up there. There we go. Randy's got some great pictures from Detroit Autorama. Can't wait to go through that. Thanks for throwing that up, Randy. If you got more, throw them up there. Jim, magazines. The old tech magazines, yep. Pete Leopold, some really cool decorator stuff. What else are Tractor Mike posting up some cool collection pictures. Kevin Brown, been on a cruise, going to miss tonight, flying home. Nassau license plate from the Bahamas. I don't remember, Brett. I've read it before, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. Rusty Okie posted some stuff up, transmission stuff. Oh, I saw that Valari promo. That was sweet. I think those are pretty cool, actually. And I think you could get those in a Roadrunner, too, an actual Roadrunner promo. Living room looking good. Oh, and some of the Hero Hada Merc stuff. I saw that car one time at a car show in Wichita about 25 years ago. That thing is stunning. That's some pretty cool stuff. Pete found it, adding some old toys to his collection. Bill Discount buying parts. That's all. I mean, it's great what you guys are doing with that page. Almost to 100 members. We are at 94 as of right now. What you doing? Hey. Come here. You gonna say hi? You wanna come say hi? Nope. So if you got some friends that you think want to be on there, get them on there. Let's see if we can push that to 100 members. Tractor Mike got us a few last week. Let's see if we can get the Nobody's page to 100 members, but there's so much cool stuff on there. Can't wait to go through the pictures Randy posted of Detroit Autorama. Looking forward to that for sure. And maybe you got some more. Drink for the kitty. Well, we'll give you a Hudson badge if nothing else. You guys ready for a cap? I hope you are, because this is a pretty epic cap. This is a really epic cap, actually. It's the only one I've got, and it is pretty amazing. Conditions just so-so, but it is definitely a special one. And I'm sure you guys are going to recognize it if you've been watching the videos, especially if you watched Friday night's video. I'm sure you would know exactly what it is. Look at this thing. Yep, there it is. An original. Still have the valve cover hanging in his dining room. Nice Buick, man. This has dings, scuffs, scratches, surface rust, but it is original. This one actually is a 37. I didn't realize there are a slight difference between a 36 and a 37. I've got a 36 as well. A slight difference right in this area on the 36. This one, the 1937 Cord 812. You can see these actually had the notch for the valve stem. This cap is 15 inches in diameter. These actually mounted on the center area of the rim. As we study the back of these caps, you can see where the retaining ring is actually here in the middle. We can see where it was welded inside the main cap. Now, originally, and I didn't know this, Doug Prey, Auburn Court Duesenberg, told me this. These caps were originally designed to be solid, with no holes in them. Just was supposed to dish center out, dish over to the side, and mount on the wheel. They had cooling issues with the brakes, so these holes were added. Of course, that would have been in 36 as the cars were being developed. By 37, they all had the holes, but the 36-37 Cord 810-812 cap was not originally designed with these holes in them. They were specifically added out of necessity for brake cooling as the cars were being developed. So a pretty cool piece. I'm obviously definitely excited about it to have it in our collection, and a neat cap. So I think some pretty cool stuff tonight. The new old stock 1969 Chevy Camaro grill emblem. And the 1937 Cord 812 hubcap. Now, a lot of people think, hubcaps are pretty common, right? Well, this is an original, obviously. And you've got to think back on the Cord 810, 812. They made just under 3,000 cars. So, if you split that in half, say they made 1,400 and 1,400. Obviously, since this is a 37 cap based on this difference here, they're 4 caps per car. So if you think, a hubcap is a pretty common deal. And you're right, and the holes have become iconic. You're completely right, Jeff, that they have become part of that style and that look of the coffin nose Cord. So, you put that into perspective, say they made 1,500 and 1,500, that's 6,000 caps for each year. So You think about that versus how many hubcaps are out there and how often you see hubcaps. They didn't make a ton of these. The finger shifter on the cord looks like it would take some practice. I'm sure it would. Awesome copper wire. Glad you joined it. And like I said, get your friends on there. If you're not on there, get on there. A lot of fun on there. A lot of great stuff. But yeah, I'm sure that finger shifter would take some practice because you've got to understand what it takes to make that thing work. When you select your gear, then you push in the clutch, and then you have to give it time for that to shift. And like we've talked about before, it is electric over vacuum. If you guys are curious about how that works, we've got a video on it. We've got a car. We did it a couple years ago at Auburn Court Duesenberg with the transmission cover off of a car. So we watched it shift. And Doug also had a reman transmission on the stand. So we were able to look at one on the stand out of the car, look at the components, then watch it shift in the car. Now, the video from Friday night where we took the car to lunch, that's the first time we really had a good opportunity to just go out and drive one where you could see it working in the car going down the street. We did it in the shop the last time, so it was shifting, but just we were doing it as a demonstration. So if you're really curious as to how that cord transmission works, we've got a video on it. Be sure to check that one out. There it is on the Auburn Court Duesenberg Company playlist on the channel. Really neat stuff. So obviously, I've always thought the 3637 cord was a great looking car. Was super excited, and believe it or not, I just got this the last time I was there. I had not, and that's there again talking about the rarity of these. I had not even found a decent one to buy in all the times I've been there, and Doug had come up with this one and a couple of 36s, so I bought those. But all the times I've been there, I had not come up with one of these, or that they had come up with extra that I was able to buy on these cord caps. So I'm definitely excited about it. Oh, and if you're curious about the Camaro grill emblem, it actually came with 2 packages of nuts. The nuts are still there, and even got an extra package stuck in there for the 69 Camaro grill emblem. Who's ready for a promo model? Another one out of the Chevy collection. Obviously, if you guys have been hanging out with us for a few months, you know Dad and I went to an auction in September with some people who had owned a Chevy dealership, a small Chevy dealer in north central Kansas. Every year they took home whatever promos they liked for themselves, put them on display in their house, and that's where they sat until they had the estate auction in September. 84 promos. We ended up with 49 of them and one for Tractor Mike. So technically we ended up bringing 50 of them home. Tonight, going back to one of the, in fact, I think this is the earliest one that came out of that collection. Obviously, going back that far, there is a little bit of warpage on it, but a pretty cool one going back to the 1952 Chevy Bel Air 2-door hardtop. Now, these obviously were not quite as detailed as some of the later ones were. One interesting thing about this era of Chevy promos is they put the colors on the roof. This one, bittersweet with beach white. A bittersweet lower color, beach white on the roof, and they actually put the colors right on top. But obviously, these are what? Promo models, promotional models. They're trying to get you to order a car or buy a car. So they put the colors right there in case you liked that color. Now, this one, as you can tell, no windows. They're mirrored. The roof line is a little bit wonky, but there again, the two-door hardtop body style was only a few years old. There's Leo. Lots of good comments on this one. But the reason the glass was mirrored on these, and because there was no interior in them, is because they were a bank to help you save for a rainy day or help you buy your new Chevrolet. Right on the bottom. We've seen this on some of these earlier Chevrolets in the past. No detail on the bottom, just the slot. It was keyed. You could put your money in here, and the storage compartment was inside the car. Now, like I mentioned, this one does have a little bit of warpage to it. It's 70 years old, over 70 years old. But overall, really not in terrible shape considering its age. The bumpers aren't chipped up, busted off. We can see some warpage on that roof line there very clearly. Does still have all the original tires and wheels. So, kind of a cool one. Definitely not one you see very often on these early two-door hardtops. But a pretty nice piece. And you can store your money in it. The 1952 Chevy Bel Air two-door hardtop in bittersweet and beach white. Late 40s is when they kind of started doing them, Brian. All right, who's ready for story time? A feature that a lot of you guys have really gotten excited about, looking at some cars that Dad had a lot of the stuff going clear back in the 70s. Let's grab the scrapbook tonight, see what we can find. Digging out the old photo album. That's true, Jeff. I think they were just trying to get you to save up to buy one. Tonight's story time, this car actually didn't need a lot of work because it was a car that Dad mentioned. You need a 3-foot piggy bank for today's cars. That's about right. That they had bought new in 1976. The 1976 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royale. We'll check out some pictures of this, and then we'll look at a little bit of the paperwork on it, kind of get the rest of the story on this 1976 Delta 88 Royale in kind of a silvery blue. Okay, sounds good, Andy. Appreciate that. Please, guys, if you go onto the Facebook page, answer the questions so Andy or Zach knows that you are actually part of the group and have been hanging out. If you're not sure of what the answers are, just in fact, if these 6 people were just tried it, then we can go over any of that stuff that you need right now while we're on, if we need to get you guys in. The 1976 Delta 88 Royale, ordered new, went on the assembly line October 16th of 1975, which coincidentally would have been my first birthday. So Dad actually did do a few things to this car. So we'll check some of this stuff out. We'll look at the paperwork. $1976 Delta 88 Royale hardtop coupe. And we've actually got the window sticker on it right here. The original window sticker. The following items are standard on this model at no extra charge. 26-gallon gas tank. Electronic ignition. Power disc brakes. Yeah, that was a popular color, Jeff. That's true. Power steering included in this package. radial tires, center armrest, ashtrays, body side molding, bumper rub strip, lighter, courtesy lamps, glove box lamp, carpet, rocker panel moldings, roof drip rail moldings, wheel opening moldings, and royal interior trim. Options that were added: power front seat, $87. Tinted glass, $64. Door edge guards, $8. Air conditioning, $512 option. Lamps, combination dome and reading, $15. Sport styled outside rear view mirrors, $26. Heavy duty suspension and heavy duty axle, $23. Cruise control, $79. 455 4 barrel, $147 option. Heavy duty wheels, $12. White sidewall radial tires, $41. This was a biggie. $341 option. The air conditioner was $512. This was the second most expensive option, $341 in 1976. AM/FM stereophonic tape player. Oh yeah. $341. So now when you look at something like that and you think, getting an 8-track back in the day or getting an AM/FM, over the base AM radio, because back then a lot of stuff was still AM. That was a monster option. $341. And AC was $512. So yeah. Power antenna, $40, and heavy duty cooling, $18. Destination charge of $309. Grand total window sticker price, $6,867.85. It did not list a tilt wheel, so I'm not sure. But there it is. That's the original window sticker from that car. And sales receipt went on the assembly line October 16th, received at the dealership November 5th. They bought it on November 7th of 1975. Cash price out the door, and obviously Dad worked at the dealership, $5,733.86. Price was $500 in 1970 on a Chevy. So yeah, that's why you don't see a lot of those type of options. The order sheet. And like I said, Dad actually did do some things to this. The radio is more expensive than going with a 454. So if we look at these pictures, and it's going to be kind of tough to see. I can see it from my angle, but I'm not sure that you guys will be able to. Michael made it tonight. If you can see right here, the car has base hubcaps on it. And if you see up here, it's got wire caps on it. So Dad did make a few changes. He basically added the convenience group that they didn't order on the car, which consisted of floor mats, dash clock, trunk release, rear window defogger, splash guards, and wire hubcaps. So he ordered those pieces and added them to them. And you think about that, well, floor mats, that's no big deal. Dash clock, that's no big deal. The wiring was probably there anyway. You took out the delete plate, you put the clock in and plugged it in. Trunk release, not a big deal. Rear window defogger, that just typically mounted right up in the package tray. Splash guards on hubcaps, obviously not a big deal either. The mile per gallon statement with a 455. 13 miles of the gallon for city, 18 miles of the gallon for highway. Out of that 455 4-barrel is what they had them rated at in 1976. Splash guard, $7.23. Switch trim and decal, $6.47. That was for the defogger switch. Wire hubcaps, $100, used ones. Probably new takeoffs, realistically. That was a lot of money for hubcaps in 1976. Marshall's Auto Sales and Salvage in Bazine, Kansas. They actually just crushed this yard out at the end of 19. I bought about a half dozen vehicles out of there when they crushed that out about just over 5 years ago. So, they got the car November of 75. And he sold it August of 77. So they had that car for almost 2 years. He put it in the paper a few times. Had 10,000 miles on it. They had it for almost 2 years. He paid cash out the door, if we remember, was $57,3386. He sold the car for, and this is where last week's car actually comes into play. John's here with us. So last week, who remembers what we talked about last week? The little Vega. The 74 Vega Camback. So he sold the car for $39.25 and took the Vega in trade. He allowed $1,800 on the Vega, and then which he sold directly to my uncle for $1,800 because that's what he gave the guy. So he got $57.25 out of the car after almost 2 years. And they paid $57,3386 out the door with sales tax in November of 75. So they drove it for almost 2 years, and it cost $8.86 difference from the sticker price. And then he had added a couple $100 with the options he put on it. So they basically drove that car for 2 years for $300. So not a bad deal. So there you have the rest of the story on the 1976 Delta 88 Coupe that Mom and Dad bought new, and Dad did a few minor things too, but we drove it almost 2 years. Now, I don't really remember driving that car. I remember the pictures of the car, but I really don't remember that car being around. Yes, actually, that thing is running like a top. Yeah, we can't. We can probably take it out and drive it. But yep, that 75 98 is running and sounds good. I haven't taken it out on the street yet, but you can jump in it, fire it up. Dad's been driving it around. They've been moving in and out of the shop. I don't know that Bill can drive it home. You may have to have it shipped home, but the thing runs like a top. So Bill just needs to bring his checkbook with him. Sounds like everybody's voting for you that you've already bought it. So how about an Auburn badge? Let us see. Where's that at? Yeah, here you go, Bill. Look at that. That's a whole lot of Oldsmobile. So who thinks Bill just needs to buy that when he's here? It's such a cool car. It was featured in Old Cars Weekly when we found it. We did the magazine article on it. That car was sold brand new right here. At the same time about the same time Dad got that 7688. The window sticker, I think, is in that car. They got this. This was a 76. And they got this November 75. I think they got that car right at the end of 74. Yep, a lot of you guys remember the 7098 convertible that Michael got from us that he's been working on. So that 98's cool. It's a neat car. Great story. Dad's literally known that car since the day it was new. The guy that prepped the car was one of Dad's coworkers. Like I said, it's just a really cool story. That is the 98 that we found in a garage in Ellenwood, Kansas, about 8 miles from here, about 3 or 4 years ago. Just got it back out of the garage. It made it around in the lineup to get into the shop, and that thing they put a battery in that, poured some fuel in the carburetor, and it fired up immediately. So they dropped the fuel tank on it and put a fuel pump on it, and sounds good. Like I said, I don't think I would drive it back east yet, but we know it runs, drive, stops, and that 455 sounds good. It's a cool car. So, but yep, there is the article in Old Cars Weekly. Of course, we did a video on it, and we may be doing another video on it April 26th if Bill decides to buy this thing and ship it back east with him. But it's cool. It's a neat car with a cool story and a great history. And it's not perfect. It's it sat in that garage for 20 to 30 years, but at least it was inside. But it's a cool ride. So we'll see what Bill thinks when he gets here and see what you guys think. Okay, when Dad sold this car, the 76 Olds, that's when he bought the 73 Riviera that we've showed you a few clips on that he still has. The Boat Tail 73 Riviera GS. I know I got a still shot of it. Let's see. Because we need to do a full video on that. But let's see. Bear with me for just a second. I'm about to it. Yeah, this one. A lot of bad influence on her tonight. Yep, there is. When Dad sold this 7688 in 1977, that's when he bought this to drive. Yeah, that's a great car, Michael. I'm glad you got it. That is a great car. That's another good point, Bill. Pete's got a good point. You can put a lot of honeys in that thing. That Oldsmobile is big. So that's the 73 Riviera GS Dad bought in 77. This picture I took about 4 months ago. And it's all original. Original paint, original interior. So we'll be bringing you some content on that as well. All right. Who's ready for some auction stuff? You want to do a few auction pieces tonight? Yep, I know you're an Oldsmobile guy, Brett. How about a Hudson badge? How many miles on the Riviera? I don't know. I didn't even look. I don't know how many miles the Riviera's got on it. I think it's getting close to 100, but maybe Dad remembers. All those Rivieras were 455s. And that one was a GS. It is a factory Riviera GS. No sunroof, and it had power. It did not have buckets console. It had 60/40 power bench instead of buckets console on the inside. Other than that, it's got about everything, which wasn't uncommon for a Riv. Obviously, it had sport wheels on it, power windows, power locks, AM, FM, 8-track, tilt, cruise, air. It's got, it was a fairly well-loaded car, just no factory sunroof, and it had 60/40 power instead of buckets and console. 90,000 miles on the Riviera. Auburn badge. All right, you guys, I assume you guys still want to do some auction pieces yet tonight? We're getting kind of late in the game, but we just haven't got that far yet. Balin wire. Gives us a couple weeks. Son Copper and I will be dragging home a real Hudson. Sounds intriguing. Can't wait to see that one, Balin wire. All right, let me drag some boxes over here. We'll do something with auctions. I don't know what. We'll find a few things to sell. Add to your guys' collection. If you guys are ready, or I assume you're ready. You always want to do them every other time, so I don't think you probably changed your minds tonight. Let's see what we can find. All right. Let's get boogieing. As always, we'll hold up a piece. We'll talk about that piece. We'll talk about a car. We'll point out some any damage the piece may have. We'll give you some dimensions on it. While we're talking about it, if it's something you're interested in, go ahead and throw a bid in out there so I know that we've got interest in that particular piece. And we'll see what happens. Once we get done with the description, we'll put it on a timer right here on my phone. I keep my phone right here by the comments, so as I'm watching both screens. We'll go 90 seconds. I'll tell you when 30 seconds has passed. I will tell you when 60 seconds has passed when we hit that minute mark. And then at 90 seconds, I will declare the winner based on what I see on my screens. So, most of this stuff will be shipping included in the final bid. I've got one bigger piece if we get to it tonight that's a little heavier that we may have shipping on. But we'll see how things shake out and see what we want to do tonight. We'll throw a few things up there. We'll get rolling. If you guys want to do more, we'll do more. If we want to move on, we'll move on. I got one of the magazines from Balin Wire tonight, if we get that far, out of his amazing viewer pack that he shared with us over the last several weeks. We'll start off with a few smaller, cheaper pieces so people can kind of get their bearings based on what I'm seeing. I will try to announce all the bids that I see as I see them on these first few pieces, so that you guys can get an idea of what I'm seeing on my screen versus what you're seeing on your screen to kind of get a feel for where the timer is at. Non-U.S. bidders, you're more than welcome to play along. However, you will have to get me paid in U.S. funds, as well as you will be responsible for shipping outside of the U.S. This thing kind of feeds itself. If we end up spending a whole bunch of money shipping a couple packages out of the country, then it kind of makes it a little tough for everybody else. Kenny made it tonight. So anyway, let's go ahead and get rolling into tonight's auction stuff. Like I said, we'll start off with a few smaller, cheaper things to get rolling, just so we get a feel for what's happening. Timer is ready. Let's do a handful of ice scrapers. The first one, Co-op tires. This is a plastic ice scraper. This is all cast into this. Not a very big, heavy-duty one, but it's not busted up. And the Co-op ice scraper is about 7 inches tall. Going with the Co-op ice scraper, we've got a standard ice scraper. This is a little, kind of a dinky little guy from Hardwick Standard in La Crosse, Kansas. This little guy is about 5.5. And going along with the standard, Mobile, Garner Oil Company, Nevada, Missouri. Has a little metal clip on it from your local mobile station in Nevada. So, handful of service station ice scrapers. So, anyway, well, if we got anybody interested in them, it's got my name on it, says Austin. Let's get them spread out here. And let's go ahead and get rolling on the ice scrapers. All of them, I know these aren't high dollar pieces, but they're cool. That's why we're throwing a handful of them out there together. Let's go ahead and hit the timer, and away we go on the ice scrapers. Austin, 10. Waycamp, 5. I got Austin at 10, but I'm trying to read what I see as I see it so you guys have a feel for what the timing is looking like tonight. Everybody's got a delay. Sometimes it's 3 seconds. Sometimes it's 20 seconds. So, Waycamp, 12. Just past the 30-second mark, coming up on the 1 minute mark, Waycamp, 12. 1 minute gone, 30 seconds left to go. Waycamp 12. Ticking away, about ready to wind this one down. Waycamp at 12. See if Austin's coming back or if it's going to be all Waycamp. Austin 13, Matt 15. And that does it, Matt at 15. Austin came back at 16, but it was too late. Matt at 15. All right, let's catch a plate. You buy the car for Tractor Mike? I was wondering about that. Well, since Briggs won the 37 plate, let's sell a 37 plate. I've literally got one here in the stack. So let's just go ahead and sell a 37 plate since we just gave one away. Pretty good condition. Actually, the paint's a little better than this on the one that we just gave away, believe it or not. 1937 Kansas, number 233, low digit, county 56. Black with yellow, just like we just saw on the one that we gave away. This is one of the plates that's about 14 inches. 14 and a half, actually, by 4.5. Pretty straight, pretty flat. Backside has a decent original paint. Good color combination with the black and yellow, kind of a bumblebee looking thing. Michael's jumping off. Glad you're here for a while tonight, Michael. On to the 37 Kansas. These were kind of weird, and I think these were correct. They had these lower hole or middle holes and outside edge holes. Blah, 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 blah. Osborne County. So I think these were all factory holes because we've seen them on some of these in this era. So let's go ahead and go on the 37 Kansas plate. And we've got some other really cool killer plates coming up tonight, guys. In fact, this is the only Kansas plate tonight. Gary, 18. Just past that 30-second mark. Gary at 18. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. One minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Getting close to the end. Gary at 18. Briggs, 20. Jesse, 20. I had Briggs first. Tony, 26. And that does it. Tony at 26. That was some pretty good shooting on Tony's part. That one got real interesting right there in the last 8 seconds. Okay. Oh, what do we got? How about a cap? We need to squeeze a cap in here. I kind of thought you were going to steal it there for a second, Gary. I was like, I thought you were going to get a heck of a deal. Then boom, 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 boom. It got interesting. Oh, Tony had to go check, see if he had it. Hudson badge. How about a cap for our Chevy fans? This one is, I think this is going back into the 30s. Kind of banged up a bit. But there again, for a wall hanger display piece, these things definitely tell a story. Has the bow tie stamped in it. Obviously, lots of dings, dents, scuffs, scratches. Bow tie still does have some original paint in it, but it is getting thin and worn. This is a metal-backed cap. It is kind of a smaller size. It's a cute little size. It is bred at 12, 8 inches in diameter. So it's 8 inches across. It's got some bad edges over here. Like I said, it's a display piece, but it's a cool looking cap. Look great hanging in your man cave. Definitely something a little different than a lot of your more common ones, but a good looking piece. So bred at 12, let's get this thing on the timer and get going. Bred at 12. $30 seconds gone. 1 minute to go. Bred at 12. One of those end up like the license plate. Sit there till a minute 20. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. One minute gone, 30 seconds left. Bred at 12. Is he going to get a good deal, or is it going to blow up in the last 8 seconds again? Just about ready to wind this one up. And that does it. Brett snuck that one out of there at 12. We'll stack that with his Chevy cap from last week. Let's catch another plate. Like I said, we got a bunch of cool plates that are that last batch I got a few weeks ago, lots of different states. So we're really going to mix some stuff up. This one, going a little ways north to Nebraska and going back to the year 1936. Black, silver letters and numbers. Kind of an odd size, though. I'm real curious as to how this is going to measure out. 10 3/4. Yeah, 509 to go. That's right. We're typically used to like a 12x6 type plate. Brett 5. This is 10 3/4 by 5.5. So it's an odd size. Condition is pretty good. It has some other paint or something up here that's mostly gone. The backside still looks pretty good. It is nice and flat. Not beat up, not bent up. 7.3, 7.35. Nebraska from 1936. Gary at 12. And let's go ahead and get this thing rolling on the timer. Coming up on the 30-second mark. Yeah, Gary's already smelling the snipers. 30 seconds gone, 60 seconds left to go. Still nothing going on. Austin, 15. One minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Gary, 16. Austin, 20. Getting close to the end. Tony, 24. And that does it. Tony snuck that one out too at 24. Another great looking plate. We still got a few more cool ones coming up too. Some other stuff we've had a little fun with in the past. I got two really unique ones tonight. These big wrenches, these old cast iron wrenches. We're going to do another pair of these, and these are super unique, super crazy. Look at this thing. I don't know if it's a wrench or a medieval weapon. I'm not really sure. I mean, you could wrap somebody in the head with it. You could stick their finger in it, break their finger. I don't know. Wrench or a medieval weapon could go either way. I'm not really sure. But it is pretty stout and it is pretty solid. I'll send a Rizzo overview, Tony. So this is the first wrench. And it is crazy unique. It does have a number on it, C188. This big head is actually pretty heavy. This thing weighs a pound or two. So like I said, this could be used as a medieval weapon or a wrench. This other one, not quite as elaborate. It says 4129 on one side of it. And the P&O Company, Canton, Illinois on the other side of it. So let me give you the lengths on these, and then we're going to go ahead and get going with them. This one is about 10 3/8. They are not for tight spaces. That's right. Briggs starting us off at 5. And the finger breaker is 10 1/2. So both just over 10 inches long. Both really unique, super cool pieces. Jeff jumping off. Glad you were here tonight, Jeff. Briggs at 5. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer, and here we go. Nut Farm, 10. Dean, 11. I bet they did spend some time in a tractor box too. 30 seconds gone, 60 seconds left to go. But they're pretty wild, especially when you look at this thing. This is your more basic wrench. I'm not sure what you do with this. Parlin and Orndorff Plow Company. So there we go. Pete gives a little clarity on that one. It is a farm wrench or medieval finger breaker. Could go either way. All I know is in 30 seconds, they're going to have a new owner because there is the 1 minute mark. This one, you could break their finger like that or stick it in it and break it off as well. Dean at 11 on the pair of wrenches. Nut Farm, 20. Briggs, 12. I got Nut Farm at 20. We'll go over in a minute, Kenny. Just let me finish this up. Coming down to the wire, Nut Farm at 20. Few seconds left to go. And that's it. Nut Farm at 20. Briggs had a 22 in there, but it was too late. Alec Blanchett got the 51 to 53 plates. Adam Briggs got the 37 plate, Kenny. And that is the new raffle for March. How about a promo model? You guys like promo models? This one's not a real rare one, but it's in good shape. I do not have a box for it. Yeah, no problem, Kenny. Not a big deal. I'll catch it when I get to a break. So that worked out all right. Promo model. The 1985. This is a duplicate that I've got. Corvette in silver blue. No box. It's not busted up. Good condition. Like it's a not an extremely common color, but obviously these mid-80s Corvettes are not hard to find either. But this is kind of a unique color on this one. It is a painted one. We can see the plastic is a slightly different color underneath it. On the 85 Corvette promo. If we got any Corvette promo fans on here. We had some Monza Monza promo fans on last week. But who's interested in a Corvette promo to add to their collection? Ooh, promo. That's right, Austin. You ready to kick this one off? Kenny at 10. Kevin at 10. Austin at 15. X-Ray at 10. Austin at 15 is who I've got. Several bids, but Austin was the high at 15. Balin Wire 20. Dennis 23. Balin Wire 30. And there's the 30-second mark. 30 seconds gone. 60 seconds left to go. Balin Wire at 30. Balin Wire 35, making sure nobody sneaks in on him. 1 minute gone, 30 seconds left. Coming out of the wire, I think Balin Wire probably took care of everybody. And he did. Balin Wire at 35. Made sure nobody was going to. Oh, Kevin L did take another shot, but it was too late. Balin Wire at 35. I got to rework your list now. That's all right. We'll get her all sorted out. I got another thing I want to show you guys that are big. There will be $20 shipping on these. I think this is the last ones I've got. We've had a lot of fun with these, but I think this is it. So you guys tell me what you think on these buggy steps. We've done a lot of cool buggy steps. This is the last set in the box. Actually, these aren't even a set. They're more of a pair, if that makes any sense. Unless I've got some other stash, but pretty much through the buggy steps. But these are actually a same pattern, but a different size. These are pretty big ones, so there'll be $20 shipping on these. Yeah, that'll do for now. That's right. Now, this you can see the pattern is identical on these. However, dimension-wise, this one's 4 3/4. This one is 5. So this one is, can't hold these things straight. This one is a 1/4 inch wider than this one. So I don't know if these were like off the same buggy, like a front and a rear. I don't know if they're off the same company of buggy, one different style than the other. Don't really know. They do have a pretty good size drop. These things are big and heavy cast iron, as you can see when I'm holding them up. These things actually are even gusseted. Briggs 10. Actually, both of these are gusseted. The mounting stand, the bigger one is right at 6. The smaller one is just under 6. So, same type. Cream City, jumping off. Sounds great. Glad you were here. Only see one side at a time. That's true. These have a big drop on them, as you can tell. These things are big and bulky, almost even too big and bulky to hold on to. Nut Farm at 20. That's got about a 9-inch drop. And Nut Farm has got some of these in his collection. And about a 10-inch drop. So the drop is slightly different, but they are the same pattern on both of these. So, like I said, $20 shipping on these things because these things are big and bulky and heavy. So, we got 20 with Nut Farm. Let's go ahead and roll with them. So I'm tired of holding them, if nothing else. This is better. I got my elbow on the desk while I'm supporting it. Nut Farm at 20 and $20 shipping on these. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Put oil cans, put all kinds of stuff on them. And they're so unique. That's what they're so great about. That's what's so great about them. Is you can use them to put stuff on to display. They're a display piece in and of themselves. Michael Glagola here with us on Facebook. I just got to keep my arm braced on the desk to hold these things up. But they are cool. There's no doubt about it. Well over 100 years old, maybe close to 150 years old. Coming up on the 1 minute mark, Nut Farm at 20 is the only bid. One minute gone, 30 seconds left to go. Nut Farm at 20. Coming out of the wire, about ready to wrap it up. Nut Farm at 20. And that does it. Nut Farm at 20 plus the shipping. And I can finally put them down. Whew. All right. Time for a plate. I don't think we've ever sold one from this state, actually. And it's old, which is really cool. And it's in good condition, which is really cool. Considering its age, it's not perfect, but considering its age, it's looking pretty decent. Going back east to Connecticut to 1931. Check this baby out. Red, white letters. Does have some discoloration, a little bit of, we're not really much of surface rust. Just the red's not real vibrant. There's some scratches in the white. Backside has a little bit of surface rust on it. But this thing is, what, 31. Yeah, 94 years old. Looks pretty darn decent for 94 years old, that's for sure. Pretty flat, pretty straight. Gary at 12. 11 and 5/8. I don't know why they come with 11 and 5/8 by about 6. So about 11.5 by about 6. So fairly close to what we're used to on size on a lot of these plates. So anyway, Gary at 12, let's get this thing rolling. And there we go on the timer. Gary's sitting out there at 12 again as we hit the 30-second mark and no other bids. Be curious to see what happens with this one in the last 10 seconds. Briggs, 15. One minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Dean, 16. Briggs, 18. Coming down to the wire, we got a little bit of time left, but not much. Briggs at 18. Austin, 20. Donnie, 22, and that does it. Tony got that 22 in there at like 129. Holy cow, Tony is on fire tonight. Tony has sniped every one of those. In fact, Tony has sniped every plate tonight. Wow. Let's catch a grease cap. We haven't done one of those yet tonight. We may do one more plate. Let's see if you guys think Tony can go 4 for 4 on sniping plates? Because I haven't done what I consider the best one tonight. Color-wise, age-wise, we haven't done the best one. Anybody will think Tony can go 4 for 4 on sniping plates? Because he got a heck of a run going right now tonight. Holy cow. Boom, boom, boom. Let's do a grease cap. This is a pretty unique one. I kind of like this one. It's pretty cool. It's got some dings and dents in it like they all do. This is a smaller cap, so it's pretty early from our friends at Durant. This obviously does have the hex shape on it. The D is pretty clear on it, and it does resemble the D they used on the radiator badges in this era. Obviously, internal threads. Like I mentioned, this is a smaller cap, so probably a little bit earlier. Yeah, there you go, Tony. Gary started us off at 9. This one is 2 3/8 across the back. Nut Farm at 20. 2 3/8 across the back. Across the hex, it is 2, and overall, it is almost 3 inches across the wide area. The D and the ring is stamped in it. Somebody had marked this Durant years ago. Even the tape looks old on that thing. The tape looks brown. It was probably marked 50 years ago, and it's a 100-year-old piece for sure. So considering its age, not looking too bad on the Durant grease cap. And here we go. Nut Farm at 20. We are boogieing on the timer. Nut Farm at 20. Just past that 30-second mark. Nut Farm at 20. And crickets. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. The hearts are going. Somebody loves this thing. Nut Farm at 20, and ain't nobody saying a word. 1 minute gone, 30 seconds left to go, and this is a pretty cute little cap. So let's see what happens. We're ticking away. We're ticking away. We're ticking away. Nut Farm's getting worried. It's getting close to the end. But he got it. I'm kind of surprised. I thought that would have done 25 or 30 because it's a cute little dude. But Nut Farm at 20. I love the emojis. From that to the smiley face emojis. That's awesome. All right. I want to do this other plate because I want to see if Tony can go 4 for 4 on sniping them. So we'll do one more plate, then we'll see where we're at. We'll probably go ahead and catch a little bit of the magazine because we're getting close to being ready to wind things up. Hudson Badge. All right. Who wants to see Tony go 4 for 4? Roger with us. Glad Roger stopped by tonight. This plate is definitely, in my opinion, the best one we had tonight and a really good one. Really cool color. I love this green. It appears to be original paint. It's early. $15.5. So it's a big one. 15.5 by 5 5/8. Definitely a unique color. 96 years old. From Iowa. Look at this thing. 1929 Iowa in green and black. Nice and straight. Pretty clean on the back. It's a great. I told you guys I thought this was the best one I had for tonight. Now, like I said, 15.5. Dean at 15. 15.5. This is a big plate. This is all stamped and embossed. Good looking piece. Very unique. Cool colors. Good shape. Super old. Lots of good. This thing's got about everything going for it. Let's put it on the timer and find out what happens. Here we go. Dean at 15. That's all we got. Briggs, 20. Kenny, 16. I got Briggs at 20 as we hit the 30-second mark. 21, 22. 23. Halfway there. Getting close to that 1 minute mark. Briggs, 30. One minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Gary, 32. We're ticking away. We're getting close to the end. Not quite there yet. Gary, 32. Michael, 40. Tony, 40. Briggs, 40. I got 3 guys at 40. Austin, 42. And that does it. Austin at 42. I had Michael on Facebook, Tony and Briggs all at 40. And then Austin stuck at 42. Tony came in at 45, but it was too late. Tony didn't sneak in and get that one. He was a little late on it. Not much, but a little bit. Austin at 42. I kind of figured that one might get interesting. That one was almost tricky to keep up with there at the end. But that's why we do it. It's a lot of fun, right, guys? Okay, we ready to wrap up? Catch a little bit of magazine yet tonight? Time for a Hudson. We definitely, actually, we need a Hudson badge and an Auburn badge after that deal. Whew, that got interesting. Got to take a breather for a second after that. Briggs got to jump off. Yep, you were right, Tony. and that's honestly kind of what I figured it should have been worth too, because it's a cool piece. So sold guns in that county in Decorah. They were earning. That's something else to think about. Wow, David. Back then they were making 25 cents a day. What would those people think if their license plate 95 years later, 96 years, people paying $40 for their license plate to hang on the wall when they were making 25 cents a day? Yeah, that's whew. It's really, it's weird to put that into perspective, but you're completely right, David. Look at those buggy steps. You know what people were using? Those were the wrenches. Those wrenches we just sold. You put that back into perspective into that time period, and it's crazy. That you're right, and even just think about what we're doing right now. We're hanging out, we're talking about car stuff, we're having a blast. We got an awesome group on here sharing their knowledge from all over the world. And imagine what those people would think of, and if thinking about this 100 years ago, and then thinking about we're selling their stuff, and it's their collector pieces today. So that's another great point, David W. Thanks for bringing that up and looking that up, because that is kind of crazy. Anyhow, let's touch base real quick on this magazine. We're not going to get too deep into it because we're only got a few minutes left before we really kind of need to start winding down. But I do want to touch on it. It's one that Balin Wires, we come out of Balin Wires viewer pack that he shared with us. So we'll touch on it. We're obviously we're not even going to get a good start on it, but I want to show it to you guys so you get an idea of what we got coming, because it is pretty interesting. I know you guys will remember it from the viewer pack. This copy of Road Test, the new car special from October of 1973. All of the new 1974 models that are coming out. So I know you guys remember we pulled this out of the viewer pack. This does have them broke down by make and a lot of other cool stuff about the 70s era vehicles. So let's go ahead and maybe catch GM tonight. And actually, let's see what we've got here. Detroit 1974. Actually, AMC's first, I guess. Let's catch some of, in fact, before we get into the vehicle stuff, let's catch some of the other stuff in this magazine. Then we'll worry about the manufacturers starting next week. How's that sound? Countdown USA, 73 car sales to date. This is the October 73 issue. These numbers were probably through September. Car sales to date in 1973. This actually compares June of 70. Oh, these are through June. June of 72 through June of 73. In 72 in June, Chevy had sold 223,000 units versus 237,000 units in 73. Ford was down 209 to 204. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Kenny is a member for 2 months. So that's weird. Was that a super chat, Kenny, or what? It popped up a big green box, but it doesn't show anything about a super chat. That's weird. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe it's your 2-month anniversary. Maybe that literally is like your 2-month anniversary right now. Oh, speaking of which, all you guys that joined the first members, I did talk to the guy on the coasters, and with the weather being so horrible, he wasn't out in his garage firing up the equipment to do it. So probably have those here in the next week or two. So I didn't forget about them, but I'm glad that popped up. Buick, 69,072 to 81,073, up dramatically. Plymouth up 70,000 versus in 72 to 75,000. Pontiac was down 65,000 to 63,000. Awesome Nut Farm, appreciate it. Oh, okay. That's something new. Awesome, Kenny. Thanks for telling me. I didn't know. But that is pretty cool. It pops up a big green box. So, but I'm glad it did, because I'd forgotten to mention the coasters earlier, and I did check on them for our first round of members that signed up when we first opened it up. Dodge, 53,000 to 54,000. Mercury, 38,072, 37,073. Cadillac, about the same, 21,000. Chrysler was down 16,072 to 12,000. Lincoln, 7,200 to 7,900. Imperial, at this point, Imperial was still, believe it or not, a separate brand. 1,000 cars to 846 cars from 72 to 73. So kind of crazy to think about. Imperial literally at that point still a separate brand. Cadillac sold 21,000 cars. Imperial sold 846. Overall, GM in 1972 at the halfway point, 451,000 cars, 73 477,000. Copperwire is now a nobody. New member, Copperwire. Glad you're hanging out with us now, Copperwire. Hope you're having fun. Baling wire's been a ton of fun, so I bet you're going to be just as much fun, and hope you're enjoying the show and having a good time with us. Ford, and kind of to put this into perspective with GM at 477,000, Ford 250,000, 255,000 and 72. Chrysler 141 to 144, AMC 28,000 to 37,000. So when you put this all together, at the halfway point in 1973, there have been 908,000 units sold in the United States. 477,000 of those were GM. 249,000 were Ford, 144 were Chrysler, and 37,000 were AMC. It really puts things into perspective as to awesome, Austin. Sounds great. Yeah, it really shows you the juggernaut that GM was at that point. To have that kind of sales volume at that point in the game. Sounds good, Copperwire. Well, I'm glad you're here. I hope you had fun tonight. Is this the first time you've been on, or have you been hanging out with us for a bit? just hadn't been commenting. But yeah, your dad's a great guy. I've had a great time hanging out with him in Lawrence. Are you guys going to Wichita next weekend or not? But that kind of gives us a good lead in going into this issue to look at the 1974 cars. When we look at the sales numbers for 73, it's going to be interesting to look at what's coming out for 74, especially when you look at like AMC and Chrysler, obviously need to make some big changes to get things stepped up into the world and get more units moved. They do have this stuff broken down by sections. So we've got a lot of cool stuff to check out. AMC, Ford, Going to be a lot of fun as we get into this new car special issue of Road Test from October of 1973, courtesy of Balin Wire. Well, glad you're here, Copper Wire. Glad you're having fun. With that, I think we'll go ahead and start our wind down because we are coming up on that 10 o'clock number. And I know a lot of you guys need to get to bed. A lot of guys have jumped off. But obviously, Wichita Swap Meet Friday and Saturday. Looking forward to seeing some of you there. No John's going to be there. No Rico's going to be there. Copper and Balin Wire not coming to Wichita. Okay, I was curious about that. So hope to see some of you there. Hope to find some cool stuff. Hope to sell a lot of cool stuff, but I usually don't sell a ton of stuff there. But like I said, it's fun to go. And like I said, there's a lot of guys there that I've seen there for 20, 30, 40, some probably almost 40 years. And that's the only time of the year you see them. Some of these guys, I don't even remember their names. But I know who they are. A lot of times I remember what kind of cars they've got or what they like. And it's always good to stop. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Nut Farm snuck one in there, so we got to get the Super Chat badge out right before the end. Supercharge the Super Chat. Thanks, Nut Farm. Appreciate that. Had to slide that one in there right at the end. That's right. Supercharge Super Chat. The new Super Chat badge. If you guys haven't seen it yet, we've been using it for a couple weeks. Anytime we get a Super Chat, you get supercharged. The 1935-1936 Auburn Boat Tail Speedster original supercharged hood badge. Thanks, Nut Farm. Next week, like I said, we'll be at Wichita. Thanks, Scott. It kept you from watching the Academy Awards. Well, I hope that's a good thing, Scott. I don't think I would have watched the Academy Awards anyway, so. So, Wichita. We'll try to bring you some stuff from Wichita. We'll see how things go time-wise. And I don't know. Maybe I'll get a few shorts up while we're there. We'll try to get some content up from there as well as the normal videos. We'll try to get a member video up on Friday, but not sure how that's all going to work. But we'll try to bring you some stuff, at least some shorts and stuff from the swap meet. Maybe we'll throw some shorts up, hanging out with some of you guys. We'll try to do a full video again this year. We always have a lot of fun with that. I don't know what kind of hat I'm going to have to buy Jess this year. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Copper Wire slid one in there. Boom, another supercharged Super Chat. I guess that means you're having fun with us, Copper Wire, right? Mike stopped by for a bit. Boom. And yes, that is original 3536 supercharged Auburn Boat Tail Speedster hood emblem. Appropriate piece for Super Chats. So we'll see what happens. We'll get some stuff up. If you're there, if you're going to be there, definitely stop and say hi. Be great to meet you if I haven't met you. And we'll try to do some content with whoever we can find there. And hopefully their awards were the worst. Okay, Gary, I guess none of us missed anything, right? we'll get some stuff up from there. Pay if you haven't gotten on that page, we will probably be feeding some of that to the Sunflower Swap Meet for Charity Facebook page as well. I built that page also, so we may be throwing. I'm sure I'll be throwing some stuff up on the Swap Meet page as well on Facebook. We do not have YouTube for the Swap Meet, but we do have a Facebook page, the Sunflower Swap Meet for Charity, the Wichita Swap Meet Facebook page. So jump on over there and like that page as well. And we'll be getting some stuff up there, but we'll definitely get you some content up from on here on the Nobody Show channel from the Swap Meet, hopefully with several of our friends that are at the Swap Meet and Jess. Got to give her a bad time. We have a lot of fun together. With that, let's go ahead and wind this thing down. Let's go ahead and call it a night, guys. We've got we'll get a regular. We'll do. I will be here Tuesday. We will do Toy Tuesday normal. Wednesday will be a normal video, and then we'll see what happens as far as what I can feed from the Swap Meet, what I have for signals, things like that, as far as getting things uploaded. But that's kind of what my week looks like, how things are going here. I doubt I have time to pick up any cars this week because I need to have a time to get this stuff shipped and get things rolling and get stuff out here and then start packing up for the Swap Meet. Johnny Cash, glad you stopped by, John. I don't think you've commented before. Glad you're here tonight hanging out with us. Had some new names on here tonight. I don't know if you're all new, but we've gotten some new comments at least, and appreciate you guys stopping by. So anyhow, hope to see some of you at the Swap Meet. We'll definitely see some of you Tuesday night for some Toy Tuesday. All right, it's Rocky stopped by. All right. Glad you swung by, Rocky. Just didn't recognize that handle. So, but glad you stopped by tonight and hung out for a bit. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. Where was I? I kind of lost my train of thought. That's all right. We'll see somebody at the Swap Meet. We definitely all hope to see you right back here next Sunday night. Same bat time, same bat channel for the Nobody Show Gearhead Interactive live chat. Have a great week, everybody. And we get to see some of you at the Swap Meet. The rest of you, we hope to see you right back here next Sunday evening at 7:30. Have a great week, everybody.